presentation by the three people before me, and I want to continue the flow going through the pyramid. So if you haven't clued into this just yet, a lot of us skip the level that Eric was just talking about. And when we hit that peak and valley syndrome after marketing, right at that critical crossroads where you got enough going on to where you're saying, gosh, if I could just be at that peak every single month of 12, 13 deals, we tend to skip over operational systems and we go straight to team building and we throw bodies at the problem. And bodies don't solve problems, folks. Bodies do not solve problems. As I said on opening morning yesterday, I mean, if you put bodies into a systemless situation, you have chaos. So after you've created the systems that Eric just talked about, the next question that gets asked me so frequently is, Tim, when? When do I hire my first personal assistant? When do I hire my own processor? When do I hire a transaction coordinator or a marketing assistant? The answer, whether it's the first hire or the last hire, and I just realized I don't have the clicker, whether it's the first hire or your third or fourth hire, it's always the same answer: when you have the epiphany. That moment of clarity, when you realize I can no longer afford to continue to execute the job description that I'm currently executing, because it's costing me money to do these things that I'm doing every day. That's why I have these peaks and valleys in my production. And now it's time for you to consider bringing aboard human resources, which is what team building is all about. Now, those of you that are Loan Toolbox members know that there's a section in the balance and behavior section of the toolbox called your hourly rate of pay. And for those of you that have not checked that out, go check it out. I'm going to give you a quick little snapshot of it right now. It's a great video tutorial. Comes with the written scripts and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty quick and down and dirty, but gives you an exercise to do, which is logging your time. Literally putting a yellow legal pad on your desk for 3 or 4 days and sitting there, and every 30 minutes, without cheating, without any variance of any kind, writing down what you just did over the last 30 minutes. And after the course of 3 or 4 days, you've got this checklist, this long list of sheets of yellow paper that are all the things that you've been doing for the last 3 or 4 days. And it is at that point in time, you can read through that list and truly question, are some of these things that I'm doing the highest and best use of my time? And that becomes the foundation for the job description of the person that you need to hire, because it's those things that you're going to shed from that list. Those things that you isolate and evaluate and say, I can't afford to do this anymore. It's costing me money to copy rate sheets. It's costing me money to take the loan application. It's costing me money to sit on hold for 20 minutes with the title company. Those are the things that would become the basis of the job description for that person that you would hire. So before we ever put the ad in the paper, before we ever begin the interviewing process, the key thing for us is to first understand what we're looking for. Yeah, just got a little screwed up here on my, there we go. What we're looking for is what the job description is all about. So the first question that you need to be asking yourself is, what are the tasks, the specific tasks that this person is going to be required to execute for me? Let me give you an example. If this person is going to be a personal assistant for you, what does that mean? I mean, exactly what does that mean? Define it in implicit detail. Write a very crystal clear job description on what this person will be doing. Will they be answering the phones? Will they be typing? And if so, how many words a minute do they need to be able to type? What industry experience do they need to have? What marketing experience do they need to have? So few of us, including myself, especially early on in my career, ever took the time to really ask these critical questions and to write a job description. No, I just threw the ad in the paper and just kind of winged it and made bad hires and was incredibly unfair as an employer and as a boss to the people that I hired. The next question that you need to be asking is, what level of experience must this person possess? What level of experience? Do they have to have been a processor before? Or are you going to be bringing forward somebody from scratch and training them how to be a processor? If it's an executive assistant, or maybe better yet, a marketing assistant that you're going to be hiring, do they have to have a background in marketing, a degree? These are all critical questions for you to be asking to ensure that you make the right hire the first time. Because you know what, gang? Write this down. Turnover kills. Turnover kills. When somebody leaves or you have to let them go and you have to start all over again with the process, it costs you thousands of dollars. Thousands. And think about how important this first hire is if that's the hire you're making. They are fully 50% of your team. It's big. They better be good. They better be exactly what you want because you got to do loans. The third thing you need to consider is where is the finish line? Define success. What does success look like? If you're hiring a processor, how many loans does this person need to be able to fund a month? If the answer is 20, what kind of financial impact does that have on you versus what you have today? Or do we just assume that $4,000 a month is the right salary to be paying them? No, you need to analyze this and understand your payment of this individual should be predicated entirely upon what value they're going to bring to you. And that's why you need to first outline, once again, what they're going to do very clearly. Number two, what is the experience that they must possess? Number three, where is the finish line? What is success? Lastly, is what is your plan for training this person? This is the area, frankly, that I failed miserably as a loan originator many times. You bring the person aboard and you say, okay, get going, start. Anybody ever done that before? Be honest, raise your hand. Yeah. You are now the human resources director for your own little company. So think about what an HR director does. An HR director is responsible for integrating that person, for training that person, for making sure that they get their feet wet, giving them a fighting chance of success, for God's sakes. One of the great stories that I've ever heard from a mortgage-related seminar is a story told from the stage by a gentleman by the name of Harry Gordon. Harry Gordon's a loan officer in Lake Tahoe, California, works for a company called Lake Tahoe Mortgage, made a decision one day that he was going to hire a junior loan officer to work with him, somebody that could really help him take his production to the next level. But Harry took a step back and he evaluated this last piece, which is who's going to train this person? And he decided to make a sacrifice. And the sacrifice that Harry made was that he paid this person their full salary of $5,000 a month or whatever it was for the first 90 days. So for 3 months, this individual worked and made their salary, but they did absolutely nothing to bring an additional loan to Harry. What they did was they shadowed him for 3 consecutive months, sat in his office with a yellow legal pad, took part in every loan application he took, listened to every telephone call that he had with a realtor or a prospective client or any other referral partner, and just took diligent notes. And 3 or 4 times a day, they would have a debrief for 15 or 20 minutes. And he gave this lady the opportunity to ask all the questions that she had based upon what she had witnessed that day. And at the end of 90 days, what Harry had was 2 Harrys. He had himself and a clone of himself. Somebody who spoke his language, somebody who understood the business, somebody who understood his systems and his methodology, and I'm seeing the heads nod. How cool would that be? And isn't that a small price to pay? Just 15 grand to have somebody that brings twice as much horsepower to your team. It's important, gang, for us to really take seriously, before all this interview stuff takes place, these critical elements. Now, it goes beyond that. It goes to personality, because you know what, at this stage of life, pretty much old dogs can't be taught new tricks. I mean, what you're getting comes with the package. It's ingrained in their DNA. And it's important for us to evaluate and understand who this person really is by nature. What is their personality? What is their natural being? Who are they comfortable being? So we're not trying to force them to be something that they're not trying to force them into a position that is incongruent with their natural personality traits. So what I've done is I've just kind of isolated a few things for you. I heard DISC testing, D-I-S-C, brought up in one of the breakout rooms this morning. It's an assessment. It's an assessment of one's personality, who they naturally are. Hate referring to it as a test because there's no pass or fail. It just is, and it's uncanny. If you've never been DISC profiled, you need to do it. It's a really revealing experience. You're going to ask yourself, how in the heck did it know so much about who I am? Just by a series of 50 questions or so. Well, we use it at LTB exclusively now in the hiring process. When you put in a job requisition to our human resources director, not only are you responsible for providing a job description, the skill set requirements, a salary recommendation, but you are responsible for making sure that you have outlined exactly what the personality traits are based upon the DISC profile that you're looking for in the person. Let me give you an example. If you're looking for an assistant, you definitely want to be looking for someone who is a high S, which means a supportive person. The proverbial chief that doesn't, the proverbial Indian that doesn't want to be a chief, that thrives on being in a supporting role. Otherwise, you're going to be butting heads with this person if you hire somebody who has a dominant personality. Now, if this person, depending upon the role, is going to be conversing with your clients, maybe taking your loan applications, talking to your referral partners, whatever the case may be, you'll also want them to have at least a midline to high I, an influencer, somebody who's social and conversational and gets people to love them. That's what you're looking for when you're looking for a personal assistant. When it comes to your processor, you also want a high S, somebody who's supportive, going to be understanding and patient, but you also need to have at least a mid to high D. D is the analytical aspect of your personality. D is the person who loves making those checklists that Eric just talked about. You want a highly analytical person evaluating files that has attention to detail. So many times I see the error made where somebody hires a processor and their D is in their shoe. And they wonder why they have 17 conditions on every file. It's because the person that they just put into that position doesn't have a fighting chance. That's not who they are naturally. And it's so critical, once again, because turnover kills. Lastly, when it comes to junior loan officer, you're looking for all the same personality traits that you're looking for in a loan officer. Most of the people in this room are either high D or high I. Most of them are. Most of the successful loan originators in the United States are high Ds or high Is. Self-motivated, driven, entrepreneurial types. That's what you're looking for in a junior loan officer. Okay. So now it comes to the hunt. Where do we find these people? Where's the best place to look to get qualified candidates? Well, I think the best place always is via referral. Our best employees have typically come via referral, and there's a reason for that. When you think about it, it's pretty logical. I mean, if somebody is going to refer someone to you and say, you might want to interview this person who's a friend of mine or a past work associate for that position you're looking for, they're typically not going to stick their neck out on the line, put their credibility on the line and make that referral if the person they're referring is lazy or a lousy employee potential person. They're going to give you somebody pretty good in most cases. Now, it goes a little bit further than that because the person that has been referred has built-in pressure. You see, they know that somebody said some kind words about them, and they know that they need to live up to those obligations. So via referral is always the best way to go. Some of the places that we have received in my loan team for years, we've received referrals from title reps, wholesale lenders, closing agents. But I'll tell you, closing agents know who all the best processors are. That's the best place for referrals. So do wholesale reps. Wholesale reps know what processors are unhappy. Make sure you're getting the word out to the people within that web, that spider web of yours that you provide ancillary services through, appraisers as well. Great places to get referrals. Other places, Craigslist.com. We frequently check this website. Monster.com is certainly a well-known one and one that we use quite frequently. Yeah, this stuff is expensive, yes. $300, $400, $500 for depending upon how long you have it up there. It's a small price to pay. I mean, $500, you get that money back so quickly if you find the right person and you plug them into a system that you have designed, as Eric talked about earlier. Local colleges. This is an often overlooked one, gang. I mean, the dean of the marketing department of any local university has a responsibility to his or her students to help them find their first job. If you're looking for a marketing assistant, pick up the phone and call the dean of the local university and say, hey, look, I'm hiring. You have any candidates that are getting ready to graduate? You'd like to throw their resume my way. Great opportunity. LTB message boards. Another great source, people trading information, helping each other. Don't forget to put posts in there. And then lastly is your local newspaper. I mean, this is the tried and true, but it still works. It's where people go most frequently when they're looking for work.